Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We'll wait 2-3 minutes and then we'll start. Good morning. Good morning. Long day with me. Come on. Good morning. I'm better. 90% should be fine by Monday. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, Sulakshana. They will always remain in the south. No, Lakshya, not specifically. You can learn the major ones, but after that, it's there. Every year there will be some campaign. We should start art and culture in a way at 1 p.m. See, I've asked them to put it as medieval and art and culture. Doesn't really matter. I have to complete what I have to complete by 17th. So, yeah, though we are doing medieval last module is art and culture only, which is Bhakti Sufi. We have to see how much we cover in this section. We'll go about like that to 9. I'll give you wherever we can say as many breaks as possible. I'll give you because long till 4 p.m. you are with me. And we have one proper break between 12 to 1 lunch. So plan your lunch accordingly. 12 to 1 we'll have a proper break. Okay. So let's talk about what we have to discuss today. We have to cover first Mughal decline. This is the agenda. Then we go to Sikhism, and then you go to Marathas, and then Sufism and Bhaktism, and we'll see how much we can cover with regards to other art and culture aspects. Now, one thing very clearly, Sikhism and Marathas are two topics which you cover in two different areas. One in medieval, one in modern. In modern, you cover, for example, Ranjit Singh, you cover the Anglo-Sikh wars, the missiles, how Khalsa becomes missile, and thereafter Ranjit Singh's consolidation. Marathas, what you cover is called Peshwa rule. The concept of how Tarabai Sahuji and Tarabai fight, over which Balaji Vishwanath comes through. Balaji Vishwanath, Peshwa rule, Balaji Bajirao, and that whole discussion with regards to Raghunath Rao, and then comes the Maratha wars. So very simply, the purpose of Sikhism and Marathas here is very simple. I have to tell you how does the Sikh religion, or what is the Sikh religion, how does it become a Khalsa. That part you cover in modern. And in Marathas, I have to tell you what Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj as a concept created as a state, his administration, Chaut Sar Deshmukhi. And then that discussion we pick up again in modern. If you've done modern, you already know. You don't need to study the Deccani Sultanates for GS level. You don't need to go through everyone. Adil Shah is that. I will give you their names later in art and culture, but not right now specifically. So the first thing, very, very important, is that Sikhism Maratha, we only cover a certain portion. Sikhism till Khalsa, Guru Gobind Singh, and Marathas under Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, his administrative setup, his revenue administration. Thereafter, you will pick it up again in modern India. Same is true for Mughal decline, but I do Mughal decline here also. I do it in modern India also. Modern India, first topic is Mughal decline, and here also last topic is Mughal decline. But Mughal decline here I do in more detail. In modern India, because I presume that you don't know who are the Mughals, there you do in a little bit less detail. So in a way, these three topics which you see here are more or less intersecting with the early modern, and that is why they become part of a modern course also. So you cannot categorically create a certain line between these two, because after 1707 as it is, it becomes early modern till 1757, and thereafter till 1947 it is called modern, and thereafter post independence till 1991. So very simply, Mughal decline I will do properly now. Then Sikhism, Maratha, I've told you half and half, half here, and the main which is the real part is basically in modern India, and thereafter Sufism, Bhaktism, which is quite an important area. We have already seen 2022. From this point forward, it becomes mains plus PT. Till here it is only PT. Because Sufi Bhakti, we saw a question. It's an art and culture area. Art and culture comes in mains examination also. 2022, we had a question also on Bhaktism, which makes it irrelevant, but now you have to do Sufism properly. Can we start then? Wherever I see any topic, when it ends, I'll give you a break. So don't worry about that. Whenever all these four topics, wherever we can give breaks, we will give breaks. So it's a long day. If you've never ever been a part of the weekend batch, this is a weekend batch experience, though much shorter still, because weekend batch starts at 10 and goes till 8 o'clock in the night. So 9.5 hours, you are only still going 7 hours. 7 hours, effectively 6 hours. Okay. Now, let's start with the first question, which is Mughal decline. Now, see, if you talk about Mughal decline, everybody talks about Mughal decline in a certain context. And if you will ask anybody who is responsible for Mughal decline, everybody says Aurangzeb. And this is something which has been developed by a Bengali historian. His name is Jadunath Sarkar. JN Sarkar, Jadunath Sarkar. Now, Jadunath Sarkar basically gave so much emphasis to Aurangzeb that for at least decades after him, and generally till today, if you will ever see reels or YouTube videos about Mughals, people tend to quote Jadunath Sarkar too much. And the problem is Jadunath Sarkar gives too much emphasis on one man destroying a whole empire. And Jadunath Sarkar's basic argument was that Aurangzeb was such a big bigot. His religious policy was such that it single-handedly destroyed an empire like Mughal Empire. But does this type of argument stand for a single man actually destroying a whole empire, which is quite intricate in that ways? And therein comes the contradiction. That religious policy actually can do a lot of damage when it comes to imperial structures. But there had to be something more fundamental in the Mughal Empire, which would actually translate into something like the Mughal decline. Now, Let's try to understand. Let's try to understand what is more systemic to this issue. What is more systemic to this issue? We believe that yes, Aurangzeb was a factor in the decline. We understand that he alienated he alienated the Rajputs. He alienated the Rajputs. Plus, he created an environment of religious conflict. And we also understand that as a personality, he was not tolerant of the larger issues. We understand these 3 points. But if we have to understand Mughal decline, we have to go a little bit backwards. Now, the first factor I'm discussing with you, the first factor which basically created the context for Mughals to decline generally is overspending. In two areas, one is Shah Jahan's monuments, buildings, and lavish lifestyle. Along with the Deccan Wars, long and non-profitable, these two are creating a major issue. Deccan War started under Jahangir, from Jahangir to Shah Jahan, from Shah Jahan to Aurangzeb. They are fighting properly in this sector. And Shah Jahan has built a new capital. He has the new capital in the form of Red Fort, Taj Mahal. All these things need a lot of money. So one thing is very, very clear, that Aurangzeb inherited a empire, an empire which was in a fiscal crisis. So our first factor actually becomes this, which is based on overspending. There is a fiscal crisis. There is a fiscal crisis. Now, when I talk about this fiscal crisis generally, we now know our first issue. This bankruptcy, this fiscal crisis. Now, Aurangzeb needs to manage this. First factor we understand is fiscal crisis. Aurangzeb, generally we know he himself is incapable of creating a good environment in his own court. His own court. And therefore, We know that Aurangzeb is not we generally have this idea that Aurangzeb himself is not capable. Now, Aurangzeb, how do you manage a fiscal crisis? If you were Aurangzeb, how do you manage a fiscal crisis? What are the standard ways of managing a fiscal crisis? Cost cutting, reduce expenditure, increase taxation, increase taxation, tax. Okay, very good. Sell utensils. कितने बेचोगे भाई? You see, there are two ways in which you manage a fiscal crisis like this. First is reduce expenditure and increase the fiscal base or revenue base. Second is increase taxation. He should have sold off Taj Mahal. So I would have bought it, you would have bought it. How much he should have sold it for? Increase taxation, reduce expenditure. Think of what you are saying before you write it. Who has the capability of buying Taj Mahal from Aurangzeb? And it's not a private property that you sell it off like that. Don't give me 2023 notions of गिरवी रख देना चाहिए था, जेवरात जाके रख देना चाहिए था. He's a Europe. He's an emperor. He will not sell off things. And who will take Taj Mahal? Nobody has that amount of money to buy Taj Mahal itself. अच्छा ही हुआ होता, बिक गया होता, है ना? Very good. Okay. Aurangzeb sell their utensils. Achha. Any foreign ruler. So that would not undermine the sovereignty of India later. तो बेच तो दिया, ब्रिटिश ले गए सब. He could have put it on to OLX, sell it to the British. गजब. Thank God you are not the advisor of Orange. एक काम करते हैं, ताजमहल ही बेच देते हैं. मतलब गजब हाल है. So there's a fiscal crisis. Let's do one thing. Let's sell the Taj Mahal. You will be cut off into pieces before you say that. But I don't know how. Thank God he did not sell off the Taj Mahal. Because then, if you sell the Taj Mahal to a foreign ruler, that the foreign ruler owns something in India. Imagine Agra today, Taj Mahal was owned by Britain. So, thank God either you were not his advisor or you were his advisor in a past life and he had come up with these ideas. Okay. Now, there are two ways. And that too, you know what is a Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is a tomb. Makabara hai. It has Mumtaz Mahal inside it. So Taj Mahal has no aesthetic value other than just being a tomb, a mausoleum. So you go and sell it to a foreigner saying that I have a tomb of my wife, you go and buy, of my grandmother, buy it. Okay. Now Aurangzeb has a fiscal crisis. He has two ways to manage it. One of you asked me, are there any other ways? All come out of this only. Reduce expenditure and increase the fiscal base and increase taxation, and that taxation would increase on the peasants. Now you see there's a very interesting way in which each of these solutions also compounded more and more issues. Let's talk about the first solution. Can we do that? First solution, increase revenue base, reduce expenditure. See, reducing expenditure itself is not very, cannot be done very quickly, but increasing revenue base can be. Now, Aurangzeb also thought like you and did the same thing, which is Aurangzeb, he increased the revenue base by increasing the Khalisa land. By increasing the Khalisa land. What do you mean by this? What you mean by this is he has now increased the crown land. But if you increase crown land, what would proportionally reduce? If he increases the then pay baki reduces, and if pay baki reduces, then Jagirs also reduced. Now, the prerequisite for Mansabdari Jagirdari system to survive, the prerequisite is that Jagir should be more than Jagirdars? Yes or no? Yes. Jagirs have to be more than Jagirdars. Now, Khalisa increases. Would Aurangzeb add the best land to it or the worst land to it? Best. So best land is added to the Khalisa, to the Khalisa or crown land. So simultaneously two things are happening. Jagir numbers are falling. Quality of Jagir land is also falling. Now, at the same time, as more and more Deccani area is captured, the number of Jagirdars started to increase. And therefore, whilst Jagirs are going down, Jagirdars are increasing. And today, does every IAS officer get the same exact salary at the same level? Yes, that the answer is yes. Every IAS officer, wherever you are, you could be in any place posted, you will get the exact same salary. If you're the DM of Agra, if you're the DM of Mathura, you can be DM of Kanyakumari, you could be DM of Srinagar. Exact same salary you will get. Exactly same. In that system, what happens is there's no competition for money. Everybody knows how much they will get. Now imagine if I say to you that your salary as a district magistrate is going to be based on the posting you get, then what will be the basic outlook of a IS officer? The basic idea is going to be everybody will start to compete with each other. Every IS officer is going to compete with each other to get the best posting itself. If your posting is bad, you don't get a lot of money. If your posting is good, you get a lot of money. Now, this is exactly the situation which is there in Jagir and Jagirdar situation. The number of Jagirs are falling and the number of Jagirdars are increasing. The quality of Jagirs has also fallen. So now it is on what Jagir you get that your salary is going to get decided. This basically creates competition and conflict between the Jagirdars. And this is dubbed by Satish Chandra as Jagirdari crisis or administrative crisis. The simple point is the first solution which basically Aurangzeb came up with led to a crisis, because in order to increase his revenue base, he increased Khalisa. If he's increasing Khalisa, Paybaki falls. If Paybaki falls, then the Jagirs fall. And if Jagirdars become more than Jagirs, then there will always be competition. And if there is competition to get revenue, everybody will extract as much revenue as possible, leave that area. Now there is no outlook for good governance. It is just to extract as much as possible. Do we understand the first cascading effect of the solution? Because then I move to the second one. It's a solution which creates a problem. Chandrasekhar, Gajni effect, good use, not even 24 hours. Difference between Jagir and Jagirdar. Yesterday you were sleeping. Jagir is the land, the holder of Jagir is Jagirdar. I really want to know what is the issue here. We did this yesterday only. If you were modern India, you would ask me, I would understand. After doing it yesterday, you're asking me exact same thing today. Now, let's talk about the second solution. Can we do that? Second solution. Yes. Second solution is increase taxes. But here Aurangzeb was quite unlucky. Because the period in which he increased the taxation from 1/3 to half of the produce between 1690 and 1707. We believe from 1680 itself, if we take this whole period, there were multiple El Nino years. See, based on new research which has happened, not a lot of examiners would know this, but based on new research which has happened just in the past 5 to 6 years, based on environmental history, everything has a history, so environment also has a history. And based on environmental history, there's a person called Williamson. He has done this study of the environmental fluctuations. And as it turns out, if you go to the average temperatures noted in the Pacific itself and the Indian Ocean, they have been able to ascertain that between 1680 to 1707, 11 to 12 years were El Nino years. Now, what El Nino means is that there will be drought-like situations in most of India, the monsoons will fail, and the production will go down. Everybody understands what is El Nino? Do you understand what is El Nino? If you don't understand, say no, yes, I will give you a basic brief about it. Yes, yes, geography done. No, Dhanraj says no. Okay. Just for the sake of Dhanraj, pay attention, Dhanraj, only for you. El Nino is basically part of what is called ENSO, El Nino Southern Oscillation, and El Nino is determined by the surface temperature of water in the Pacific Ocean across 2 points, Tahiti and Darwin, which is one in Australia, the other one on the Cheru, on the not the Cheru, the Peru and Chile coast, and across this sector there is a very strong circulation which is based on Peru and Australia. Peru and Chile, it has to be cold, and at Australia it has to be warm. Everything, when it is cold water, it means it's a high pressure. When there is warm water, it's a low pressure. So what happens is the circulation, equatorial circulation, is strong towards Australia, and this is what is called the trade winds. These trade winds will basically become what is called the displaced, will get displaced because of the Coriolis effect towards the right, and this will become the southwestern monsoons in India. This will become the southwestern monsoon in India. This is a standard circulation which happens when there is no, which is called positive. It's a neutral year. In a neutral year, this is what is going to happen: cold water here, warm water here, and that creates a very strong current, and that current, upper air circulation, is going to become the southwestern monsoon. However, in El Nino year, what happens is that this water, this cold water, starts to become warmer. When this becomes warm, the high pressure reduces or becomes weak, and when that becomes, this circulation becomes weak. And when this becomes weak, then what happens is that because the trade winds are weaker, the southwestern monsoon becomes weaker. The exact opposite of this is called La Nina, wherein there is very strong high pressure and very strong low pressure, which in turn leads to very good monsoons and flood like situations. And La Nina and El Nino considered brother and sister. El Nino basically is known to destroy agriculture and will generally lead to more drought like situations, monsoon becoming erratic. There is three things together which basically decide this. One is El Nino, the other one is called IOD, Indian Ocean Dipole, and third is called Maiden-Julian Oscillation. But I think Maiden-Julian Oscillation and Indian Ocean Dipole I keep aside. IOD basically is based on the fact that what is the surface temperature in the Indian Ocean itself. If the Western Indian Ocean, if the Western Indian Ocean is Eastern Indian Ocean is very warm, then the monsoonal winds will go towards that sector more, and then again it destroys agriculture, intensifies El Nino, and if there's a high pressure there, it becomes like a wall and allows to go towards the Indian sector itself. So if one of you said that 2023 and 2022 both were El Nino years, but in a way El Nino was undercut by a positive Indian Ocean dipole. So the IOD was towards India more, meaning Arabian Sea was much warmer than what it should have been. So it was a little bit better. But if both become negative, which is El Nino and the Bay of Bengal or that whole Malaysian sector becomes a bigger lower pressure, the winds go towards that sector more. So in a very crude way, I'm trying to tell you something which Mukesh sir would have taught you in much more detail. But I hope that this suffices as a basic revision of that concept, which is what is El Nino, what is IOD, and now what you understand is what is El Nino. Basically, as soon as you hear it, you should understand is that then monsoons will fail for sure. If monsoons will fail, then it means that the agricultural sector is going to suffer. Is going to suffer. Now, now, perfect, Dhanraj. What means this is how different subjects of UPSC interact with each other, because that is the complete knowledge you need to have. El Nino means that the agriculture agriculture sector suffered droughts and crop failure. And what is ironic is at the same time, Aurangzeb asked for more. Peasants had Pritesh. I think now everybody knows your name. Pritesh. Wait. Technically, today I've caught you. You have joined at 9:47. It says Pritesh Sisod joined. Tina also joined right now. She's asking me what is the lecture, what we are doing. And you're saying not understanding, please. Is your name Sanjay of the Mahabharat? That you were watching this through your Divya Drishti and you were not able to understand it? And if not, and if you aren't Sanjay, and if you've not heard the whole Gita, then how will you understand by joining at the exact moment when I'm teaching something in between? So, Pritesh, I don't know what you want. And if you really want to understand, come on time. Right? So, some of you forget this, that I was also a student and I have also taught in universities for 6 years. So remember, 6 years, Delhi University students over smart kids I've taught. So when I can manage them, I can manage you. And this digital space does not basically give you anonymity. It doesn't, because every day everything is written here. So don't do that. You're not understanding. Obviously, you will not understand, and there's nothing I can do about it. So come on time. Because before you could start to say, I have given some fees, I am also entitled to understand something, don't make a fool out of yourself, because I am not getting fooled in any way or form. I have a long day and I'm in no mood to entertain this type of, I have no other words for it. Okay. So at the same time, Aurangzeb asked for more. Peasants had less to give. And therefore, what what basically has happened is agriculture is in a crisis. For the people who are writing in doubt section, Vaibhav, Tarun, write it in the chat section. I think there's no SME. It's only me and you. Agriculture is in a crisis. Aurangzeb increases his demand. And this in turn leads to what Irfan Abhiv says, peasant revolts and agrarian crisis. Peasants refuse to pay more. It should be very clear to know one thing, and it's not that previously people did not ask for half. Half of the produce was even asked by Alauddin Khilji at one point of time, by Muhammad bin Tughlaq at one point of time, but there was no peasant revolt, though Muhammad bin Tughlaq saw it. It was Aurangzeb who basically had the wrong timing of this. And the simple point is, people had nothing to give. So peasants said that we revolt. We don't have anything. They came together and refused to pay to the emperor, and that is to the Amir. So the second solution which he has come up with creates agrarian distress and peasant revolt. So one thing is very clear. Now we have ascertained that fiscal crisis plus Jagirdari crisis plus revolts in peasants or peasant revolt plus agrarian distress have now become a norm. And if I add to it is religious policy, we have now discussed the major things which are weakening the empire. Now add to it weak successors, Bahadur Shah, Jahandar, Muhammad Shah Rangila. All of these people had no idea what to do. When Aurangzeb did not knew, what will they do? And invaders, Nadir Shah, Ahmad Shah Abdali. They did not have money, and whatever money was in Delhi was taken by Nadir Shah. Wherein, very simply, what we've discussed here, weak successor, economic bankruptcy, invasions, Jagirdari crisis, rebellion, and religious policy, all together compound and create Mughal decline. What I want to do here is, I want to give you a flow chart. But before I give you the flow chart, I want to ask you, do you understand how it cannot be just Aurangzeb and how all of these things are basically cascading and becoming more and more compounding, and domino effect is there. The more he is trying to manage the crisis, the bigger the crisis he creates. If we are clear about that, then I give you a summary of Mughal decline in one slide as a flowchart, and then we can move on to Sikhism. Can we discuss that? Yes? No? Yes. Okay. Now, let's try to understand this generally. Mughal decline. Shibam, I'm doing this for two reasons. Because this is intersecting with modern India, so you can get a mains question also on this, and you can also get statement-based question on factors which led to this decline of Mughal Empire. Make sense? This wrecking ball is the Marathas. Marathas are going to become a major issue for the Mughals, and they will start to chip off on the basic foundations of this empire. If you look at it, the fiscal crisis, the base that creates Jagirdari crisis and peasant revolt. Add to it his religious policy, which is not very good, weak successes in invasions. Mughal decline cannot be attributed to one factor but to multiple. And further, there is also one more issue that the Marathas are striking on the when we come to revenue base or to power and creating more and more issues for the Mughals. Done. If done, I leave you here. We take a breather, 10 minutes, Sikhism, then again 10 minutes, then Marathas, then again 10 minutes, and we go to Sufi Bhakti. Clear? Done? Perfect. So we'll take a breather here and then we start again. Would reach Sufi Bhakti by most probably 10, 11, 11:30. Most probably by 11ish, 11:30ish. And then most probably the discussion in that 1 p.m. session is Sufi Bhakti. Okay. See you. 10, 10, 10, 15, we'll come back. Top one in invasions, yes. Welcome back. Okay, 10 minutes breather is enough for you, but I have to have my breakfast in that. So, sure, why not? Okay. Will you start again? Lecture is resume. दुनिया काय खत्म होने लगती है भाई. When you suggest how to revise framework, in the dashboard is showing art and lecture 1 El Nino point. If yeah, you can write El Nino point. If we can we say that the underestimating the British and giving Farmans is the reason for Mughal decline? No. But yes, it is a rise for the British for sure, not underestimating that ways. Battle of Hydaspes between whom? Hydaspes कहाँ चले? Hydaspes would be Alexander versus Porus. Vivek, why would I make you solve an Indian Forest Service examination question? Because the Forest Service examination mains questions, there is ancient medieval in mains also, but why would we solve that? Ananya, I know it is showing medieval for this and art and culture for the next one. So what's the issue? As soon as I start what we call as Bhakti Sufi, we are in art and culture. Okay. Now, in a way, our Mughal India is complete. But as you know, weak success is the first topic you do again in modern India. When we talk about Mughal, we have political history, we have Mansabdari, we have the concept of revenue administration, and you have religious policy, Rajput policy, decline. See, in no way, this is enough for a student who is doing optional or academic studies. In the university level, we do 6 months do Mughal India. There are when you look at the Delhi University syllabus or any university syllabus for medieval India, you will see a whole semester goes into reading the Mughal Indian sector, wherein you are discussing different what we call as expeditions. You're going into the Ayn Akbari itself. You're going into the other systems of administration, where you're going to the smaller nitty gritties in that regard. Now, that much level of understanding you don't need because it is GS level. So if you look at Satish Chandra itself, Satish Chandra has 8 chapters on Mughal India. So what I have done and what is needed for this examination is we have tried to take out whatever is relevant for the examination. And if you want to go into, for example, Mumtaz Mahal, for example, this, that, smaller details, that's a separate issue altogether. You want to read further, sure, but this is enough to answer any question which has come till this point out of this area. The last thing which I will just tell you before we move on to Sikhism is if you remember, how did Sher Shah Suri divide the empire? What was the levels in which he had divided the empire? How was his empire divided? Anybody remembers? 2 levels were there. One was called, yes, very good, Pargana. The other one was called Sarkar or Shik. And when Akbar comes in, he adds another level which is called Suba. Suba is basically province. District, number of villages. Pargana, Sarkar, Suba. Make sense? Can I successfully say to you that you have a better understanding or have an understanding of Mughal India? In no way it is comprehensive. It should not be comprehensive itself. Yes? And Vivek, stop looking at Indian Forest Service examination mains questions. You're wasting your time. This is the most difficult. Sure. Mughal is clear. Perfect. Now, we move to two internal subsections which were happening whilst Jahangir forward, meaning from Akbar itself, Sikhism was rising, and the Marathas will rise by the time Shah Jahan will come into existence. Now, very simply, let's talk about Sikhism. When we talk about Sikhism, there is one major misconception which students have, which is Sikhism is not part of Hinduism. It is rather a separate religion. It's a separate religion. First thing, Sikhism is not part of Hinduism. Maybe for constitutional purposes it may be, but as a religion, as a sect, as a faith, it is different, because Sikhism has a certain way of reconciling itself vis-a-vis two major religions in India, the Islam and Hinduism. Now, the first question comes is, who is the founder of this religion? And the answer to that question is Guru Nanak. Now, the other question would be, what was the need for this religion? What is the context for this religion? How do you explain the origin of this religion? Now, the origin of Sikhism has two major arguments. One which makes sense. Second one, which you will even find in the Tamil Nadu board and in certain other books, which actually is a little bit problematic. See, the first is, if you ask Sikhism, why was there a reason for Guru Nanak to talk about what he talked about? The argument is that Sikhism tried to reconcile conflict. In the sense, Sikhism rose in Punjab, which is a very flux-driven area, wherein basically there's a lot of issues. And therefore, with all these issues wherein there is Islam, there is Hinduism conflicting in each other, Sikhism rose as a middle path. Wherein there's a proverbial saying where Guru Nanak is said to be Nanak Shah Fakir, Hindu ka Guru, Musalman ka Peer. Meaning, Baba Nanak, the great man of God, the Guru of Hindus, and the Peer, which is again Guru of Muslims. Basically, he tries to reconcile, give a middle path in a place where there is a lot of conflict between the two major faiths. People wanted a middle path, wanted an alternative, and that alternative was Guru Nanak's teaching and ideas itself. So this is the first origin theory. First origin theory is Sikhism rises out of the need for how there was conflict between the two major religions in the Punjab sector. Now, the second argument which is given is that Guru Nanak was one of the saints of the Bhakti movement. You would have seen that in Tamil Nadu board, if you will read the Bhakti Sufi chapter, it will have the picture of Guru Nanak, or even have the name of Guru Nanak in it. If anybody has referred to the Tamil Nadu board, you would know what I'm saying. But the problem is, there are three issues in it. First, timeline issue. When Sikhism is rising, Bhakti movement has not properly established itself in North India. Bhakti movement starts first in South India, which we will discuss later. Second, this would mean that Guru Nanak, in a way, is an offshoot of the Bhakti movement, meaning offshoot of Hinduism, which in turn makes it more problematic than how is that it is a separate religion. So one theory that it is out of the Sant tradition basically becomes problematic if you question the theory too much. And the second one is that it was a reconciliatory path which was chosen. Now the point is nobody really knows what is the real reason. We go with these two plausible reasons itself. We go with these two plausible reasons, which is Nanak Shah Fakir, which is the idea of two conflicting religions, and second one, which is the more standard but more problematic, which is Bhakti movement, Sant tradition. But this will not explain why Sikhism is then a religion itself. Because if it's Bhakti, then it is not outside Hinduism, it would be inside Hinduism. Are we understanding the two theories and the contradictions in the second one? Do we understand that? Okay. Now, the question is, why is it called Sikhism? Second one is part of Sant tradition, Bhakti movement. Bhakti movement you don't know, so don't worry. I will teach you that in the second half itself. But what I'm trying to establish here is Bhakti movement offshoot makes no sense. First is the more plausible one. That will make more sense when I've taught you Bhakti movement. So don't worry about that. Have to say yes or no, have to say something for sure, because then only I move forward. Because these are now small topics have to be covered quickly, not very big. Don't have to get caught up into this. Okay, now when we will discuss Bhakti, you will automatically realize why Guru Nanak cannot be placed within Bhakti movement, because then he would have to be within Hinduism. Guru Nanak started a new religion itself, so therefore it has to be outside it, and therefore Bhakti movement argument does not stand. Rather, it is a need which came up in that regard. Now, the word Sikh rises because of a Sanskrit word. When I actually teach you something, what am I trying to give you? I am giving you a Sikh. मैं सीख सिखा रहा हूं. I am giving you a Sikh. Sikh is a lesson. The word Sikhism actually rises out of the word Sikh, which is a Sanskrit word for lesson or knowledge. So the word Sikh actually, why do we call them Sikhs? Because the Guru give the Sikhs, and if you follow the Sikh, you are a Sikh. Get it? Do you get it? If the Guru gives a Sikh, and if you follow those Sikhs, then you're a Sikh. And therefore, it is based on the idea that Guru Nanak had certain precepts, and if you follow that teacher-learner tradition, you are a Sikh. And therefore, the word origin comes out of that. Sikh is derived from Sanskrit, a word Shishya understands, and those who follow Guru Nanak and his Sikhs are called the Sikhs. So the Guru gives you the path, the one who follows that Sikh is the Sikh. Now, what is the core concept and ideology of Sikhism? The core concept is you have to have a devotion, a duty towards your Guru. Whatever the Guru tells you, you have to accept it and take it forward. Now, when we talk about the basic precepts, Guru Nanak these dates are based out of a standard source. This could be different in different texts because there are no right dates. There are always up down. According to this basically is pre-Mughal, but in certain books you'll find it post-Mughal also. It doesn't really matter. Guru Nanak, born at Talwandi, also known as Nanak Sahib in now Pakistan, and there are three major precepts on which Sikhism is based on. This is the core ideology of Sikhism. First is called contemplation of one God. Basically, it's a nirgun God. Nirgun means that God is formless. God is formless. Formless God. How there is Sagun Bhakt, there is what is called Sagun God, which is, for example, Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, Lord Hanumana. On the other hand, you have a God who does not have in that sense, any form in that regard. Any form in that regard. So formless God. Now, monotheistic means one God. There are not multiple gods like we have Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, we have Shakti, we have different. They have only one formless God who they basically in a way have a devotion towards. Now, one is called Nam Japna, which is contemplation of God. Second is, and very important to Sikhism, and that is why Sikhs are the most industrious people in India, which is earning one's livelihood. As a Sikh, you always make sure that you are working and you work. Give me just 1 second. Huh? Yes, sorry. As I was saying, the first precept is called one God, contemplation of one God, which is Nam Japna. What do I mean by Nam Japna? Which is that you devote yourself to worshipping that one God. So that is Nam Japna. Second is, as far as you are devotional to God, you don't sit around, you work. And the third, which is equally important, and that is why langars exist and Sikh communities throughout COVID actually were feeding people, which is you should always share your earning with others. Guru Nanak's three main precepts were this only. You need to worship God through devotion. Second, you need to earn your living. You should not be dependent on anyone else. And third, you should help somebody if you can. These three in that regard become the three most heaviest precepts. And what Guru Nanak did, and that is why he gets linked up with the Bhakti movement, is that he believed that there is no point in the orthodox practices of Islam or Hinduism, in the caste division, in Varna division, in the social exclusion which have been created within the community itself. And that is why they developed this concept of no form of division when it comes to eating, which was very common when in Hinduism itself, and the concept of dharamshala and langar. That is why if you've ever had any food at a langar, how many of you have ever experienced a langar previously? Langar means community kitchen. It's like if you can go to a gurdwara, there will always be food served free of cost to anybody who wants to eat. You haven't. Now, if you've never been part of a langar, you would know basically, langar is that in a gurdwara, you can go and they will give you food if you want to eat. But there's a rule. The rule is that you have to sit on the floor. First thing. Nobody gets table chair. Second thing is, everybody will be served the same food. And third, you have to wash your own utensil before you leave the langar hall itself. There are other smaller things, but what is interesting is this rule does not change for, you have to cover your head, that is for sure, before you enter the Gurdwara itself. We're talking about langar rules. Now, one thing which is even more interesting is these rules do not change for anybody. And the best example of this is Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, when he used to go to Shishganj Gurdwara is in Red Fort, is next to, in front of Red Fort. It is in Chandni Chowk, considered one of the oldest uh, Gurdwaras in Delhi itself, after Majnu Ka Tila one. In Shishganj Gurdwara, whenever he used to go, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, when he used to go, he used to sit on the floor, though he was the Prime Minister. He used to sit on the floor, he used to eat with everybody else, and he used to wash his own utensil. Meaning, in the temple of God, in the Gurdwara, you can be anybody, but you will have the same rules. Even as Prime Minister, he had to follow these things. You could be the richest man, you could be the poorest person. Both will be served in the same place, same rules, no bias at all. This is the power of what Guru Nanak was actually saying. That I don't believe in caste distinctions and Varna distinctions. Now, this may sound as very non-revolutionary right now, but put yourself in 1500 CE and in India, where casteism, Varna distinctions, untouchability, everything is there. And when Guru Nanak is talking about these things, would it not seem to be an extremely revolutionary idea? An extremely open-ended concept, because food was something where social segregation was extremely bad, and here is a guru who's talking about everybody being the same. Does not matter who you are. Does not matter who you are. This in itself is a revolutionary idea for its period, and that is why Sikhism became what it was in the Punjab sector, because of this middle path. But it is not actually Guru Nanak who institutionalized langar. For that, we have this one slide which is very, very important for you. These are the 10 gurus of Sikhism. I'll tell you why only 10 when I will teach you the whole concept itself. The 10 gurus of Sikhism, under which you have Guru Nanak, the one who started Sikhism. Then you have Guru Angad, who's the one who developed the Gurumukhi script, which is used till today, the script which you see for Sikhism. Then you have Guru Amar Das. He is the one who actually made it properly. It's not actually called Punjabi, it's called Gurumukhi. Gurumukhi script, Punjabi language. And Gurumukhi language also sometimes called. Now, he is the one who made langars a proper part of Sikhism. Guru Ramdas is the one who founded the city of Amritsar. Very, very important that was. The Golden Temple, the most holy city for Sikhs, is developed by Guru Ramdas. And now comes one very interesting personality, Guru Arjan Dev. Now, Guru Arjan Dev is known for two things. He is the one who built the Golden Temple in Amritsar, where you have the city of Amritsar being developed by Ramdas. He's also the one who wrote down what Guru Nanak said into a book, which is called the Granth Sahib. Basically, the way you have the Quran, you have the Bible. Granth Sahib at this point of time is what Guru Nanak said, meaning what are his teachings. Now, Guru Arjan Dev is known for one more thing. He was martyred by Jahangir. He was martyred by Jahangir. The dates don't matter to you. And the reason for that is, it is believed that uh, who rebelled against Jahangir when he came to power? Who rebelled against Jahangir when he came to power? Who rebelled? Khusrau? His son Khusrau rebelled when Jahangir came to power. It is believed that Khusrau went to Arjan Dev and Arjan Dev assisted Khusrau. And that is where Jahangir was drawn towards Arjan Dev. However, after this point, Shah Jahan never touched the Sikhs too much. And Aurangzeb got embroiled because of a certain politics within the Gurus itself, which I'll tell you. Guru Arjan Dev built the Golden Temple, compiled the Holy Granth Sahib. But what happens is, from this point forward, Guruship becomes hereditary. What do you mean by hereditary? What do you mean by hereditary? Hereditary means father, son, father, son. So Guru Har Gobind, who developed or had established the Akal Takht meaning the power center of the political power of the Sikhs in Amritsar. Till him, everything was okay. Till him, everything was okay. Guru Har Rai, Har Kishan, it is here that the problem starts. It is here that the problem starts. Till Guru Har Gobind, everything is fine. After Har Rai, there is a person called Ram Rai. Ram Rai Harkishan politics in turn led to Aurangzeb getting embroiled or getting attached to the Sikh politics. And for the same reason, Guru Tegh Bahadur will be executed by Aurangzeb because of what he did because of his activities in the Bihar sector. And Guru Gobind Singh is going to do two things which will change Sikhism forever. One, which is he will stop this Guru tradition as a human form and make the book itself the eternal Guru. That is why I use for Arjan Dev the Granth Sahib. But when I will talk about Guru Gobind Singh, I'll say Guru Granth Sahib. Because the Granth Sahib, which is the book itself, is the eternal Guru. And he will also establish the Khalsa, which will be the paramilitary wing which will support and protect Sikhism. If Sikhism is India, Khalsa is the Indian army, in the sense that it protects Sikhism. But the question is, why was there a need to change the rules after Guru Gobind Singh? If we understand the basic names, can I discuss the politics of Har Rai, Har Kishan, and thereafter the need for Khalsa? Can I do that? Okay. Now see, till Guru Gobind Singh, everything was perfect. But when it came to Guru Har Rai had two sons. The elder son Ram Rai and the younger minor son Har Kishan. Now see, Har Rai had already said that the next Guru is going to be Ram Rai. And Ram Rai was considered to be the next Guru, more or less. But there's a very interesting instance. The instance is that, see, Jahangir attacked Arjan Dev, but Arjan Dev, he did not respect Sikhism that much or did not understand Sikhism that much. Shah Jahan kept his distance away from Sikhism. Sikhism was in Punjab. Mughals were not able to allow it to become very big, but it was doing what it was doing in the Punjab sector. But Aurangzeb interestingly had a curiosity for Sikhism. He wanted to know what is Sikhism. So Aurangzeb sends a small letter to Guru Har Rai saying that can you send somebody to my court? I would like to know about Sikhism. So Guru Har Rai says to Ram Rai that this is your pariksha, this is your exam. I nominate you to go to Aurangzeb's court and you explain to him what is Sikhism. But he gives two conditions. He gives two conditions. One condition is don't reveal your powers as a guru. Second, more important, do not contradict the Granth Sahib. If the Granth Sahib says left, you say left. If it says right, you say right. Conditions clear? Ram Rai? Okay. Now, this is a very documented part of Sikh history. Now, Ram Rai goes to Aurangzeb's court. Very good interaction. Aurangzeb is very extremely impressed by Sikhism itself. He loves the ideas of the Guru Granth Sahib also. But there was a scholar in Aurangzeb's court who knew Gurumukhi, and he asked Guru Ram Rai about a line. Aurangzeb said, one of my scholars says that there's a line in the Granth Sahib wherein there's a word, and this word according to us means Musalman or Muslim. The Granth Sahib also was referring to as a Muslim only, but Ram Rai standing in front of Aurangzeb said no, it does not refer to as Muslim. It refers to the people of the soil. Now what has Ram Rai done? Ram Rai has broken the second rule, which is in no condition contradict the Guru Granth Sahib. Now when Ram Rai comes back to Punjab, Guru Har Rai says that I got to know what you did. That line means Muslim only. I don't know in what context you changed it, but now you have broken the rule which I told you. Do not contradict the Guru Granth Sahib. And against the multiple pleas of Ram Rai, Guru Har Rai says that I nominate my next son as the Guru, which is Guru Harkishan. Now, Guru Ram Rai felt extremely bad about this. And ironically and very interestingly, Aurangzeb felt bad. So Aurangzeb actually called Ram Rai and said that it is because of me that you are not going to get Guruship. So do one thing. I am granting you land near Dehradun. You go there, you start your own Gurudwara, and you become Guru there. That is why in Dehradun area, you will find a lot of institutions with the name Ram Rai in it. So in a way, Aurangzeb, interestingly, supported Ram Rai and said, you go and you develop your own thing. You don't need to worry. It is my fault that you did not get Guruship. So Guru Harkishan is the next Guru, but he's basically a minor. And Ram Rai has this grudge that I was not given Guruship. Now Guru Harkishan becomes the next Guru. However, at a very young age, he dies. And for the same reason, when Guru Harkishan dies, Ram Rai again says to Guru Har Rai that I should be the next Guru, not anyone else. So even before and after the accession of Harkishan as the Guru, Ram Rai did multiple pleas. And rather than going to Dehradun, he started to sit in Aurangzeb's court itself. Now, when Guru Tegh Bahadur was nominated in place of Ram Rai or as the next person who would take Harkishan's position, Guru Tegh Bahadur could see one thing, which is that if he remains in Punjab, Ram Rai was extremely interested in how Punjab was being run, and he was in the ears of Aurangzeb too much. So Guru Tegh Bahadur said that rather than spreading Sikhism here, he went to Bihar. And in Bihar, he became a very extremely influential personality, very, very influential personality. And he had a very strong following in the Bihar sector, Bihar Bengal sector. Now, Aurangzeb saw Guru Tegh Bahadur's popularity as a tawheen on himself, as a transgression of his sovereignty. And because of the Ram Rai politics, Guru Tegh Bahadur and his 5 followers will be asked to come to, or will be captured and brought to Aurangzeb's court. They will be given a choice: either accept the sword or accept Islam. And Guru Tegh Bahadur will say, I will never accept Islam. And Guru Tegh Bahadur will be martyred by Aurangzeb. Thereafter, what happens is Guru Gobind Singh becomes the next Guru. But unfortunately, Guru Gobind Singh, when he became the Guru, now Mughal politics has become properly anti-Sikh. And Guru Gobind Singh loses all of his 4 sons to the conflicts with the Mughals. And then Guru Gobind Singh realizes one thing, that if we keep the Guru tradition as a human, as a person, if the Guru is killed, would Sikhism survive? Would Sikhism survive? Yeah, the 4 Sahibzades, yes. No. And now Guru Gobind Singh believes that I need to do something to make sure that Sikhism becomes what it is today. And he says that the human Guru tradition stops here, and the Granth Sahib will be the Guru. The eternal Guru of Sikhism is the Guru Granth Sahib. And that is why, if you ever been to again a Gurudwara, the Granth Sahib is actually treated as a human. The book is woken up, the book is brought into the takht, the book is kept to sleep, in a way to show that he is an eternal Guru. And what Guru Gobind Singh does is that he also establishes the Khalsa, a paramilitary wing to protect Sikhism against the Mughal onslaught. And the Khalsa will now have what are called the Amrit Chakna bolte usko. Once you take the vow, you are baptized and you become the fighter of the Khalsa. Women and men both do it, and therefore they are now going to become the military wing. The Nihangs are one, but other than that also you can be part of the Khalsa, and therefore you become a fighter of Sikhism, and Sikhism will then go into a proper conflict with the Mughals, survive. The Khalsa will become the missiles. They will become what they are under Ranjit Singh, and thereafter what we know, because of the treachery of the Teja Singh and all, it will become the issues later. So many wars will be fought, but Khalsa will stand its ground, later become missiles. Then Ranjit Singh is going to destroy the missiles and make it into the Punjab state. Thereafter, you know what happened in and the Anglo-Sikh wars in that regard. Does this make sense? No. Dudekala now. Does this make sense? Let's read it out and then we can break and start Marathas. Khalsa means the fighting wing of the Sikhs. Okay. The need for Khalsa and Mughals. Although there were some clashes between the Sikhs under Shah Jahan, there was no clash between Sikhs and Aurangzeb till 1675. Aditya, you're going to get your answer. In fact, the conscious of the growing importance of the Sikhs, Aurangzeb tried to engage with Ram Rai, the elder son of Har Rai, at his court. However, Guru Har Rai was displeased by Ram Rai and nominated his younger son as Harkishan as the next successor at a very tender age of 6 years. Harkishan died soon after and was succeeded by Guru Tegh Bahadur in 1664. Granth Sahib contains the teachings of Sikhism, yes. Are all Sikhs? No, no, no. All Sikhs can't be part of the Khalsa, na? India is Sikhism religion, and Indian army is the Khalsa. So are we all part of the Indian army? Lakshya, are we all part of the Indian army? No. So if we aren't, the same way, not every Sikh is part of the Khalsa. You are a Sikh following Sikhism, and you would have to be one person who is basically taken the vow to protect Sikhism. now, now, Ram Rai put forward, Sachin, what what is written here is Satish Chandra. I know there are multiple places where there has been claimed. That is not my prerogative. Ram Rai put forward his claims to the Gaddi, which is the Guruship, both before and after the accession of Guru Harkishan, and even after his death. Aurangzeb did not interfere or rather did not interfere in the succession politics and gave a grant of land at Dehradun to Ram Rai to build his own Gurdwara there. But most of the time, Ram Rai remained at Delhi and continued to intrigue against the Gurus and try to poison the mind of the emperor against him. After his succession, Guru Tegh Bahadur had to come to Delhi, but he escaped the intrigues of Ram Rai and he journeyed to Bihar. And under Raja Ram Singh of Amber in Assam till 1671, he actually became very popular in this sector. However, in 1675, Guru Tegh Bahadur was brought to Delhi from his headquarters with 5 followers. Various accusations were made against him, and he was asked to recant his faith, and or which he refused, which in turn led to his beheading or martyring. Thereafter, the final living Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, established the Khalsa order, the saint soldier. The Khalsa upholds the highest Sikh virtues of commitment, dedication, and a social consciousness. The Khalsa are men and women who have undergone the Sikh baptism ceremony and what is the initiation ceremony, Amrit Chakna, who strictly follow the Sikh code and conventions which have been told under the Khalsa code. And the 5 Ks are the ones which are very important for the Khalsa. Kesh, Kangha, Kada, Kachera, Kirpan, which is the uncut hair, the wooden comb, the iron bracelet, the cotton underpants, and the Kirpan. The Kirpan, one of the most iconic, one of the most iconic uh, weapons which is used by the Sikhs. And this is what you need to know about Sikhism. If this is done, we come back and start Marathas. Can we do that? That Sachin, that is a formless god which they all worship to. There's no form to that. Done? Okay. We come back at 11:15 and when we move forward again. Done? 11:15 to 12, 45 minutes. Stop. We have lunch 12 to 1 and then from 1 to 4 we'll do Sikhism culture and understanding. Done? Done are done. Okay. Uh, Welcome back. Uh, See, we'll start at 1 again. I am not feeling well. So I was coughing like anything, so I had to delay. So we come back at 1 only. I think I'll have my medicines and then we can start at 1. So we have to do Marathas and that will be done. We'll come back at 1. I was not was just outside here itself. I was not feeling well. So why Monday? Whatever I can teach, I'll teach. But yeah, I'll take my medicines, I'll have my lunch. You can also have that. I'm really sorry, wasted your half an hour. So we'll come back at 1. We'll take this forward. Thank you. Thank you.